Today, we are diving deep into one of history's greatest mysteries. We're exploring a truly wild theory that the Great Pyramid of Giza isn't just an ancient tomb, but a kind of encyclopedia of scientific knowledge, literally written in stone.
So that's the big question, isn't it? What if this incredible structure is more than just a pile of rocks? What if it's a deliberate message encoded in the universal languages of math and geometry, just waiting for us to figure it out? That's the rabbit hole we're going down today.
All right, so where do we even begin with a theory this huge? Well, it all starts at the very foundation, with a very specific and you could say very controversial unit of measurement.
Everything, and I mean everything, in this theory hinges on a unit called the pyramid cubit. Now, this isn't just some random length. The theory claims it's precisely 1/10 millionths of the Earth's polar radius. That's the distance from the Earth's center straight up to the North Pole. So, right off the bat, the claim is that the pyramid is fundamentally tied to the size of our planet.
Okay, so keep that pyramid cubit in your head for a second, and now look at this number 365.242. Does that ring any bells? It absolutely should, because according to this theory, this is the first major key to unlocking the whole thing. And here's why. The claim is that the length of each of the pyramid's four sides at its base is exactly 365.242 of those pyramid cubits. Think about that. It would mean the pyramid's foundation is literally a calendar carved in stone, marking the exact number of days in a trip around the sun. Okay, so that's the outside. But the theory says this mathematical genius doesn't just stop at the front door. It continues deep inside, into what might be the most famous room in the world, the King's Chamber. Inside this chamber, things get really interesting. The theory breaks down its geometry like this. First, the room's length is precisely double its width. Okay. Second, its height is exactly half of the floor's diagonal. And when you put those two rules together, boom, you get a perfect 3-4-5 right angle triangle, which, suggests a pretty sophisticated grasp of geometry. But hold on, it gets even more complex. The theory claims that if you take the width of the chamber and multiply it by the square root of pi, you get that same number again, 365.242, the solar year. This would mean that whoever built this not only knew advanced geometry, but also had a shockingly accurate value for pi. So you kind of have to ask yourself, how could any of this be possible? Well, the source material we're looking at has its own very direct conclusion. I'm just going to quote it. No man living 4,000 years ago could have of himself known so many scientific truths, unless directed by a higher intelligence. Now let's move out of the chamber and into the pyramid's passages, because here the theory shifts from pure math to the cosmos, claiming that the very hallways symbolize the cycles of the sun and the moon. So check out this symbolic connection. The theory goes that the huge, soaring grand gallery represents what it calls the gospel age. It's linked to the sun and, you guessed it, the 365-day solar year. But then you have the much narrower, darker, first ascending passage. That's said to represent the law age, linked to the moon and its roughly 29.5-day cycle. And this isn't just about astronomy for its own sake. The source gives it a really deep theological meaning. It sees the sun's powerful direct light as a symbol for the Christian era, and the moon's lesser reflected light, that's said to represent the era of the Old Testament. So it's a timeline built from both numbers and powerful metaphors. Okay, so we've covered days, months, and years. Now the theory zooms way, way out, from the scale of a human lifetime to a truly cosmic timescale. Get ready for another number, and this one is massive, 25,694. According to the theory, this number is anything but random. It actually points to one of the most important long-term cycles in all of astronomy. It's the length of the precession of the equinoxes. What is that? Well, it's this incredibly slow wobble that the Earth's axis makes as it spins through space. This giant cycle is sometimes called the Great Year, and it's an incredibly difficult thing to measure without modern instruments. And yet, the theory claims that this Great Year isn't just encoded in the pyramid once. Nope. It shows up 3 different times. It's supposedly found in the pyramid's perimeter at one level, then again in the sum of the base's diagonals at another level, and a third time in a combination of both measurements at yet another level. It's like a cosmic clock built right into the architecture. All right, for our final point, we're going all the way to the top. This is maybe the most audacious claim in the entire theory because it connects the pyramid directly to our home in the solar system.
This last one focuses on a single vital measurement, the pyramid's total vertical height from the ground all the way to the very tip top where the capstone once sat. And that one measurement is said to unlock this number, just under 92 million miles. Now, what in the universe could that possibly represent?
Well, it's the average distance from our planet Earth to the sun. The theory proposes this beautifully simple formula. You take the pyramid's height, multiply it by 1 billion, and you get the distance to the sun. A cosmic yardstick pointing straight from the Giza Plateau to the heart of our solar system.
Which brings us right back to that huge central question. Is the Great Pyramid just an incredible marvel of ancient human skill and ingenuity, or could it be something more? A message encoded in stone and stars, maybe from an intelligence far beyond our own? The theory certainly makes a case and leaves the rest of us to wonder.